Okay, folks, we're going to talk about a training issue that police have, and it's been known that this is a training issue that's been around for a long time. There aren't that many people that have epilepsy, but cops, don't know what they're dealing with when they get somebody that has epilepsy, and this is a bad thing for those folks. These people need medication. They could die if they don't have their medication. And sometimes when these people are having a seizure or something like that, some cops in small towns think that these are just druggies and they can treat them however they want. And it can look like that. But you've got the problem of if this person has epilepsy and they die in your custody, oh, there's a storm coming that you don't want to deal with. Now, this was highlighted recently. Oklahoma Watch, which is, yeah, they're a little liberal, but they do some good reporting, has covered this because of a recent arrest this year. This happened in May 20th, but they did a little bit of research into it. I'm going to leave a link down below so you can read this full article. But people need to know that their cops need to start getting training when it comes to epilepsy. This is dangerous. People can die. And cops have to deal with quite a bit. I'm well aware, but they're the front line. They're the first people that see a lot of things that are going wrong. They need to understand what epilepsy is. They need to understand that they can't treat these people like they're some kind of criminal. And in some small towns, these cops get a little annoying. Now, most cops are not that way from what I have seen. Now, I guess I've been lucky. I have dealt with a lot of good cops. But you've got cops that don't want to do their job properly, and so they act like they're above everybody. And this is a training issue. And these guys are already got a bad attitude, so if they haven't been trained, they're going to cause a lot of harm. So hit like and subscribe if you want to talk about what's going on with our government on all levels, local, state, federal. I cover it all. This is an issue that is definitely government because most people, after they get out of school, primarily only deal with cops when it comes to government. So, well, here we go.
Howdy, y'all. This is Paul, the Redneck Thinker. What we have here is a channel to communicate. I want you folks to be thinking by the time you leave my videos. Why? Because I'm tired of people talking via what other people tell them to think. So, watch my video and enjoy the chance to think for yourself.
Okay, so on May 20th, Nicole Janowski was arrested by Guyman police while having an epileptic seizure. She was denied medication and held overnight in the Texas County Jail. Texas County is actually in Oklahoma. Odd. Uh, Charges against her were dropped, but not before responding police had endangered her life. Janowski recalled that on May 20th she had left home on foot after a disagreement with her partner. She had a little memory of what happened before she was taken into custody and believed she experienced what Epilepsy Foundation described as a focal impaired awareness seizure, in which epileptic people, while seizing, may walk, talk, and appear normal in many respects. Okay, so this is a different issue altogether, and this is something that's very scary. 6% to 10% of epileptics go into psychosis, not being able to remember actions following a seizure. The Epilepsy Foundation report said symptoms can be mistaken for daydreaming. Afterwards, a person may be tired or confused for about 15 minutes and may not return to normal function for hours, according to information published on the Epilepsy Foundation's website. Janowski's arrest bore an uncanny resemblance to multiple cases of epileptics having been arrested during seizures in Florida in 2019 and to similar arrests of epileptics in California in 2020, Alabama in 2021, and Texas this year. So liberals that are listening to this, yes, even California, which is an extreme liberal state, yeah, that their police are not handling this. Further, Janowski's arrest aligned with nationwide trend of people who have epilepsy being arrested in jail because of training gaps as identified in the 1990 House Judiciary Committee report. 7 days after Janowski's arrest, Oklahoma's Dillon's Law, a comprehensive bill designed to raise awareness of sudden unexpected death and epilepsy, composed of elements of similar statutes from across the country, went into effect. A 2014 study produced by the Epilepsy Foundation linked wrongful arrest to low societal awareness. Lack of public understanding has resulted in people with complex partial seizures being unfairly arrested and sometimes seriously injured in the process and prosecuted based on perceived intoxication, violence, disorderly conduct, or indecent exposure, all because of involuntary actions produced by seizures, the study said. Primary champion of Dillon's Law was Hannah Witten, an Oklahoma City attorney whose brother Dillon Cheatwood, a lifelong epilepsy sufferer, died of sudden unexpected death in epilepsy in 2017 at age 25. Witten now sits on the board of the Witten Newman Foundation and the Isaiah Stone Foundation, two Oklahoma City-based organizations dedicated respectively to stigma prevention and pursuit of an epilepsy cure. Additional steps to address epilepsy awareness in Oklahoma include the Seizure-Safe Schools Act, which mandated epilepsy training in schools beginning in 2022. Every school in the state was required to have at least one fully trained person on staff. Despite those advances, Janowski's arrest just days before the enactment of Dillon's Law revealed to Witten that there was still progress to be made for the 41,000 Oklahomans who suffer from epilepsy, particularly in regard to law enforcement. It shows that there's so much more that needs to be done to protect people living with epilepsy, Witten said. Now, Oklahoma Watch obtained the incident report. Now, this is another reason to have the link down below. They have links to all this. Incident report of Janowski's arrest and compared it to dash cam and body camera video of the three patrol officers who responded to a report of an individual making clumsy efforts to enter a home. Confused and seizing, Janowski had mistaken a house several blocks from where she lived for a place where she was welcome. The report and the videos did not always agree as to what transpired. The residents called police, and a report produced by Officer Juan Ramirez, who joined the Guymon police force in 2024, indicated that 911 dispatcher told officers that Janowski was probably intoxicated. Officers Terry Yao and Trevor Bowers, on site before Ramirez, told Ramirez that Janowski was probably under the influence of meth. Prior to Ramirez's arrival, Bowers and Yao spoke with the home's residents who suggested Janowski was on drugs. So, see, somebody with this problem can be mistaken for that. So I'm going to I'm going to stop reading this now, and you can read the rest of the report. This is what's going on. Look, this in no way is attacking police officers. This is going, hey, there are folks who have a medical disorder that could be deadly to them and could cause police to act differently towards them if it is known what they actually have. These cops were told that she had epilepsy, yet they still put her in jail without her medication. We need to not just have these laws enacted, we need training to go to these cops. There are several million people in the United States that have this disorder. It's a bad thing. I have seen people with epilepsy and how they are treated. I do not want to see that done to people continuously. We need to fix this. We do. It's a you and I situation. We need to make sure that cops are getting the proper training. Instead of defunding police like idiots keep claiming, no, we need police who actually have proper training. This is why I say I would prefer police to have a 4 year degree. I would prefer them to have psychological training. I would prefer this is another area that they need to have training. I'm not saying that they need to be EMTs. I'm saying that they need to understand what epilepsy is to the point that they don't put these people in a cell without their medication. Heck, they probably don't need to be put in a cell, period. But this needs to be understood, and cops are unfortunately the front line in this. And I'm not saying that because I have something against cops. I'm saying that because cops shouldn't have to be the front line to this, but they will be. Why? Because they're first responders. That's the name that they're given. They're paid a lot of money, and don't tell me they're not. They are. They're paid more than teachers. They're paid more than most folks get paid. They're paid a lot of money. You should have the requisite training that goes with it. That's why I say 4-year degrees. That's why I say training. I keep harping on those things when I make these videos because it's true. Training is very necessary. And people don't need to be arrested because they're having a medical problem. This has been Paul, the Redneck Thinker. Y'all have a good day now. Bye. So, folks, that's the story that I wanted to bring you on this video. And I just wanted to say thank you again for coming by. Well, hit like, subscribe, comment, all that fun stuff if you don't mind. Help me out. So, y'all have a good day now. Bye.